everybody, I'm Rachelle, owner of Sunset Studio. Today I'll be leading you through a heart-centered yin practice. If you do not have bolsters, blocks, blankets at your home, I would suggest just having maybe a couple of towels or some blankets that you can fold up to create a little bit more cushion for yourself throughout the practice. If you're living in Prince George and you'd like to borrow or rent some props from the studio, just let me know. I'm happy to organize that for you. So we're going to start our practice off seated. So just find yourself into a comfortable position, whether that be cross-legged or sitting up on your heels. If you have a blanket handy, it can be really lovely to elevate the hips a little bit. So I'm going to choose that option just by sliding the blanket just underneath my seat, just allowing the knees to relax down towards the ground. So a little thing about yin is that, you're really in control of how much or how little you feel. So if you're not, if you haven't practiced yin a lot, or if this is your first time, just so you're aware, we will be holding positions from anywhere between about 2 to 6 minutes. The aim is to move into these positions not to your fullest potential. So what that means is basically when you first come into the position, you want to make sure that you're supported and that you feel that you're able to sustain there. And then over time, the fascia, the connective tissue, your bones, everything will start to open up when you're in that relaxed state. So you're able to move further into the position and find more ease as you gradually find more depth. Now, depth is not the aim of the game. It's more just that's where the body will kind of end up over time. And if it doesn't happen for you, if it doesn't look like a big change from minute 1 to minute 6, that's okay. It's just all about listening to your body and becoming still, really. So as you find your comfortable seat, let your palms just rest down on your thighs for a moment and give them just a tiny bit of pressure, kind of like you're giving your quads a bit of a massage. Walking down towards the knees and then back up. And just to help yourself ground towards the floor, and to create just a little bit more length through the spine. And once you feel settled, let your right hand come to your belly and rest your left hand just over top of your heart. We'll close our eyes here and encourage the heart space to expand by drawing the shoulder blades just slightly together. Encouraging the back of the neck to be long by reaching the crown of the head skywards. And with your hands placed as they are, become present with your breath. And feel the sensation of the breath coming into the body. Nourishment, fresh, new air. As you exhale, you can think of releasing any stagnant air, any tension. Every time you breathe in, there's an opportunity for space and length in the body and in the mind. Every time you breathe out, there's an opportunity to let go. Stagnant air, tension in the body and in the mind. So spend just a few more moments here, feeling the path that the breath takes as it ripples through your body. beautiful thing about yin is that it is very quiet and it's very introspective. We get this beautiful opportunity, this really special gift to spend some time and really connecting to yourself. Now, many of us, when we're practicing yin, our minds may become very busy. So something that is beneficial for me is to set a little intention at the beginning of the practice and use it as a mantra throughout the positions, the postures, the transitions. So if my mind becomes very busy and it gets pulled out of my body, I have something to reconnect with. So if there's something that's coming to your mind, feel free to connect with that. And I'd like to offer you a mantra or an intention that's really resonating with me today. It's I am full of love. I am capable of receiving love. And I am capable of giving love. On your next breath in, begin to float your arms up towards the sky, nice and slow, feeling the sensation of stretch in the sides of your body, around your armpits and your chest. And allow your heart space to expand just a little bit more. Keep the low belly drawn in. Allow your shoulder blades to come a little closer together. Your arms might go a little bit back. Take a big inhale here. And as you exhale, let your hands come together. Slide them all the way down through your heart center, letting the palms come back down to the thighs. You're more than welcome to keep your eyes closed here. Just slowly blink them open to gently transition. So we'll be coming into child's pose with a little bit of support here. So as you come onto your hands and knees, if you have a blanket handy, you could use it for a little bit of cushion underneath your knees. And if you have a bolster or a couple of blankets handy to create a bolster, you can bring that in front of you towards the top of your mat. So as you come into your child's pose, your hips will go back towards your heels and your forearms will rest upon the bolster. So the forehead can find its way towards the ground in between your arms. So first, as you arrive, settling in, if you need to adjust, maybe spreading your knees a bit wider, maybe bringing them closer together. You could shift a bit, just side to side, feeling into your hips. Then eventually coming into stillness. As your body begins to settle and your skin starts to relax, you can begin to feel your bones getting heavy, dropping down towards the earth. And as you welcome the breath in and out at its own pace and rhythm, begin to witness the sensation of expansion in the front of the heart as well as the back of the heart. like to think of the heart space, the front of it, being the part of our heart that we show to others, and the love that we feel and experience for our friends and our family, our parents, our children, our pets. It's the love that we feel for nature, the mountains, the rivers. And the front of the heart is what we show and how we move from that space a lot of the times. We care for others, we do things for people, and a lot of the times we kind of forget about ourselves because we're moving from that place of love from the front of our heart space. And the back of the heart space is the part of the heart that we hold just for ourselves. It's a little bit harder to access sometimes, but that's that love that we have for our inner child, who we are in the present moment, and who we are meant to be. So bring your awareness to the front of your heart as you breathe in, like expanding that part of your love for others, compassion, love, kindness towards others. And as you exhale, just feel the back of your heart drop down into the front of your heart, feeling it become expansive. So the part of the body that holds the love that you carry for yourself, expanding throughout your body. Feel into the sensation of the breath coming and going as you let the awareness kind of settle in that heart space, the front and the back. We'll be in this shape for about 3 more breaths. For the last few moments here, you might like to encourage the breath to come in a little fuller and let it go out through the mouth. When you're ready to come out, let your arms just slip off of your bolster, bringing your hands to the floor, just right underneath your shoulders or close to them. Begin to press into your hands very gently, very slowly to lift your chest away from the ground. And if your knees are quite wide, bring them closer together and sit up on your heels for a few moments. Now, for many of us that are experiencing tension in the knees, or if you're working with an injury with your knees in particular, whenever we come to kneeling, you can always come up on your knees. It's a great option, so feel free to find the position that feels best for you. Taking just a few moments here, closing down the eyes and feeling how the breath is flowing through the body in this moment. Once you're ready, we'll gently find your way onto our hands and knees, coming into a tabletop position. If you've been working with a bolster, you can just move it out of the way, give yourself a bit of room. The hands will be spread nice and wide, the knees underneath the hips for now. We'll begin to move through some gentle cat-cow. So going very slowly, as you breathe in, begin to tilt your pelvis, so your tailbone's pointing up, the crown of your head is lifting, and the shoulder blades are coming together. So the front of your heart, the part of your heart that you hold for others, is shining forward. And then as you exhale, begin to slowly initiate the movement from the tailbone, rounding the back one vertebrae at a time, gazing towards the navel and pressing the back of the heart, the space that you hold just for yourself, press that up towards the sky. One more time, flowing just a little bit faster. Inhale, opening up. Exhale, rounding out. Inhale to neutral. Take your knees as wide as your yoga mat with your big toes touching. So you have a V shape with your shins. The right hand will stay on the floor. As you inhale, begin to sweep your left fingertips up towards the sky, opening up the chest. As you exhale, take your left hand underneath your right arm. You can begin to bend the right elbow and let the left shoulder rest down on the ground, the left ear on the floor. Make any little adjustments here that you need so you're feeling fairly comfortable. Sometimes we move into positions and we need to adjust a little bit because maybe something doesn't quite feel right, and that's okay. We'll be in this one for a short period of time. So just getting yourself in that sustainable position so you're able to hang out here, relax. Great opportunity to just witness where your mind is going. So if it has floated out of this room, out of your room, if your mind has attached to a thought or a worry, with a very gentle hand, can you begin to bring it back to the here and the now, to your breath, and perhaps repeating your intention or your mantra. I am full of love. I'm capable of receiving love. I am capable of giving love. And feel the words of your intention, your mantra, you reverberate throughout your whole body. You can feel the words, the power of them. We'll be here for about 3 more breaths. Breathing into the front of the heart as well as the back of the heart simultaneously. As you exhale, you can release any feelings of frustration or anger, any negative thoughts that you have for others or for yourself. On an inhale, we'll slowly come back up through center. So you'll press into the right hand, begin to sweep the left arm back up into the sky, just taking your time, feeling everything. As you exhale, the left hand will come back down to the floor. We'll take a moment just to pause in the center for 1 round of breath. As you breathe in, sweep your right arm up towards the sky, opening up through the front of the heart, the chest. As you exhale, sweep your right arm underneath your body. Bend your left elbow. Lower the right shoulder and ear down to the ground. And find a restful position in this twist. So again, if you need to come out and readjust, you can certainly do that. Just giving yourself this opportunity to come into stillness, into this quiet, introspective state. Try and relax the other parts of your body. They're not needed in this position, so the muscles of the face can be really relaxed and soft. And the feet, soft, passive. Breathing into the front and the back of your heart. Final 3 breaths in this position. On an inhale, press down into the left hand. Gently unravel, reaching the right arm back up towards the sky. Again, opening up through the collarbone, the front of the chest, the front of the heart. As you exhale and you let your right hand come back down to the floor, pause just for a brief moment. Feel into the experience of the remnants of the twist. Gently let your knees come together about the distance of your hips apart. 1 round of very slow cat-cow. Inhaling, opening up. Exhaling to round the back. Inhale, find neutral. We're going to come onto our seat and extend our legs out in front of us. So if you have a blanket handy, you could have it underneath your bottom. I'm going to show this from the side just for, I think, a better angle. So as you're sitting on your blanket, when you're coming into a forward fold, I mean, yes, it's nice to sit on the blanket just to have, that cushion there, but we kind of want to move our bum towards the end of the blanket or whatever it is that you're using to sit upon. So it almost feels like your sits bones are sliding off and the flesh of your bum is still held. So there's this natural tilting of the pelvis. When we move into forward folds, we want it to initiate from the pelvis and not the middle of the back, which happens a lot of the time. So once you find yourself on the edge of your blanket or whatever it is that you're using, you can grab your bolster if you have one, or a big pillow or 2 pillows, and just put it underneath your knees. And depending on the size of your bolster or blanket, this is going to look different obviously, and that's okay. We just want a pretty generous bend in our knees and a bend and a flex of the feet to start. I want you to think about a back bend to begin. So your hands are going to slide underneath your knees or your thighs wherever you can reach, and begin to lean just slightly back, rolling the shoulders together. Feel as though there was a string attached to your heart and someone was lifting that string directly up towards the sky. So the low belly is engaged and the back bend isn't happening anywhere in the low back. It's all just through the thoracic spine. So lifting the chest up, opening up through the collarbones. Think about Care Bear. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but the Care Bears, when they open their heart and they send their love to wherever it's going. So take a nice deep breath here. And then keep the back bend for as long as you can. Start to reach your chest forward, forward, forward. Keep the back bend for as long as you can. Let your belly come down towards your thighs. You can start to walk your hands towards your ankles. Keep that back bend if you can. Take a nice deep breath in here. And then as you exhale, let the upper back round. Couple options here. You can use your elbows on your shins or your thighs or your knees, wherever, to create a little pillow for your forehead. Your hands can come together. You can rest your hands in your forehead, or your forehead in your hands. If you like to gain some sensation of stretch in the back of your neck, your hands can be floppy, your head can relax down. So in this position, we're accessing again the back of the heart. So I encourage you to really soften here. Your feet can relax. Your shoulders can melt. And if we let go of the idea of trying to go further, and we just accept where we are, the body and the mind together begins to relax. It's no longer, a job to do, a task to get done, or somewhere that we need to go. There's no concern for what the shape looks like, no worries about how far you're folding or not folding. So your body can kind of let go of its trying. Your mind can release its effort of trying to do anything. Just allow yourself to be where you're at. And let the experience of the breath keep your attention. The feeling of the breath as it comes into the body. You might feel it in particular in the back of the body here. Almost like you could breathe up and down the length of your spine. Over time, you could feel that gravity is taking over. So your upper body can begin to release and let go and be held by gravity. Feel your legs passive and relaxed. Your hips have a sense of being held. So there's no need to hold them. The earth has you. And feel your spine relaxing bit by bit, more and more, giving in to gravity. The shoulders and the head, soft. We'll be in this shape for about 3 more breaths. An opportunity for spaciousness, for expansion on the inhalation. An opportunity to let go, to release on the exhalation. Taking your sweet time and tenderly begin to climb your way back up. So the hands could come to the shins or the ankles, wherever you like. And just begin to roll yourself up, one vertebrae at a time. We never want to shock the system, so we move nice and slow. And then just find a little bit of organic movement. That's what feels good for you. But whenever it is, let it be slow, sweet. Let it feel good. And please continue a little bit of movement. I'm going to show you 2 options for our next posture. So the first option will be for those that do not have any issues with their knees whatsoever. This position requires a lot of flexibility in the tops of the feet, the ankles, the knees, the quadriceps, the hip flexors. So it's called saddle, and it's we're going to be coming into it for the heart as well. So recline saddle. So for this one, if you do not have issues with your knees, you'll sit down in between your heels. You know, for some of you, even if you don't have issues with your knees, this might feel like more than enough sensation, so you're welcome to stay here. The next kind of option would be to just come down onto the elbows. The gaze can stay facing forward. If your low back is feeling compression, lift your bum up. Think about pointing your tailbone towards your knees and then lower back down. You could stay here, or you can recline all the way down. Depending on how big your bolster is, you might like to have, you know, a block or something underneath your head. Your arms could be over your head as well. That will probably be the most amount of sensation that you'll feel for the front of your body. You could also have your hands resting down on your belly. If this is not an option for you, we'll come into Supta Baddha Konasana. So your bum will be on the ground, just like it would be in the saddle. The soles of the feet would come together. You could have your heels close towards your body if you like, or your feet could be a little bit further away. Now, if the back bend is too much for you, so coming back like so is not going to feel overly comfortable for you, if it's too intense, you can just take your bolster the opposite direction. So instead of it creating more of an arch for your back like so, you could turn it so the butt end of your bolster is up against your low back. So when you roll back or when you recline down, it's a little bit more supportive. Hands could be resting on your belly, or arms could be over your head. So do take your time to come into whichever shape it is that you are deciding to move into. I'm just starting my clock, making sure that we're not in these shapes for too long. So again, whichever position you're in, whether it be saddle or Supta Baddha Konasana, just know that if something isn't feeling right, that you can certainly move. Okay, the aim of the game with yin is to feel sensation. Sometimes the sensation, it might be uncomfortable, it might be intense, and that's fine. What we don't want is pain. So if you're experiencing any sharpness, any tingling, anything that you're saying no to, then adjust and find what works for you. We need our body to be soft and passive for the connective tissues and the ligaments, the fascia, the bones to receive the benefits from what we're doing here. So if your muscles are tensing and gripping and you're forcing yourself into a particular shape, you're really missing out on the benefits that you could receive if you took the posture and manipulated it in a way that serves you. So again, it doesn't matter what it looks like. It's not the aesthetic or the external look of the posture that we're trying to fit into a certain box. What we are looking for is softness, patience, relaxation. Begin to feel into the front of your heart. Imagine that as you're breathing in, you're expanding the part of you that loves others. And let's just for a moment ponder, what would the world look like if this part of us was more developed? If the love that we have for our dearest friends, our families, if we could expand that love to every being. And let your attention slide to the back of your heart. And let your breath caress and soothe and soften the back of your heart. Just tenderly expanding that part of you that's dedicated just for yourself. And what would the world look like if that part of us was more developed? If we loved ourselves a little bit more fully, if we had more patience and kindness and compassion towards ourselves. We'll remain in this shape for about 3 more breaths. And when you come out of the shape that you're in, I want you to move so slowly. If your arms are behind you, slowly bring them by your side. If you're in Supta Baddha Konasana, you can slowly close your knees and begin to lift yourself up. If you're in saddle, gently press into your elbows, draw your chin in towards your chest, and try to come up as much through symmetrical as you can. You can pause for a moment if you were reclined all the way down. Slowly bringing yourself up so you're on your seat. Letting your palms rest down on your thighs. We'll meet in tabletop. Take your time. Hands can come forward. You can push your bolster back if you've been using one. And no matter what variation you were just in, whatever position, give your right leg an extension and roll your ankle a couple of times one way. And then roll it the other way. Lower the knee back down to the ground and we'll switch. Left leg extends. Couple rolls of the ankle. Roll the opposite direction. Bring the knee back down to the ground. A couple of hip dips side to side. So allow your right hip to come down towards the ground. Maybe look over your left shoulder. Slowly come through center. Let your left hip come down towards the ground. Maybe look over your right shoulder. One more time, side to side, moving at a pace that feels really lovely for you. As you come back to center, we'll come onto our back from here. So just as we've been doing, move very slowly for yourself. You can let your bum come down. Extend your legs out in front of you with the feet on the floor. We won't need any of our props with us unless you like them for Shavasana. Begin to slide all the way down onto your spine. Join your knees together and offer them a little squeeze. Maybe a little rock side to side. Extend your legs up towards the sky. Take your hands. The palms of your hands will be on the floor. You'll lift your hips just a touch and slide your hands underneath your low back, your sacrum, making a little diamond shape with my hands. So just resting of my low back on the tops of my hands. Just elevating the legs up towards the sky for a few moments. You can do a little bit more movement with the ankles if you like, some points, some flexes, some circles. And then eventually just let the legs come to stillness. You can keep a little bend in the knees. Close the eyes. And let a wave of relaxation move through your body from the soles of your feet, down your legs, swirling around your hips and pelvis, pulling into the belly, the back body, And as this energy of relaxation moves into your heart space, swirl it around. You can visualize maybe a white light, or maybe a liquid quality water, just washing around the heart space in a figure 8 motion or a circular motion. Let this relaxing energy move into your face, your shoulders. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, bend your knees. Let your feet find the ground. Remove your hands from underneath you and place your right hand over your belly, your left hand over your heart. If you like, you can walk your feet a bit further away from one another, keeping the knees knocked in towards one another. This could be your Shavasana. If you prefer traditional Shavasana, legs extended, that's great, but keep your hands where they are if that resonates with you. We'll finish our practice together by repeating the mantra or the intention that you had set at the beginning of your practice, just in your mind's eye. Please stay here for as long as you like. At least 5 minutes or so is a really great way to end a practice. Just in stillness and Shavasana. Letting everything that you've just done absorb in and integrate into your body, not just your physical body, but your emotional body, subtle layers. When you are ready to finish your practice, do so slowly. And I thank you so very much from my heart to yours. Thank you for practicing. Thank you for connecting. And have a beautiful rest of your day or evening. Namaste.